You are listening to Productivity Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after productivity coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives entrepreneurs the straight talk on personal productivity. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the Productivity Specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to Productivity Straight Talk. Today is episode 127. Time. Is it a four-letter word? If you're a business owner or entrepreneur who wants actionable solutions to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. My goal for you today is to take a look at your relationship with time, because I want you to be really, really clear if you have a healthy relationship or an unhealthy relationship with time and how that may be affecting your business and life. I'm looking forward to bringing this episode to you because you will discover how effective time management starts with your mindset, why you must view every minute as an investment, how your relationship with time affects your ability to manage it, the affirmation I say every day to keep my relationship healthy, and so much more. Now, today is going to be a super powerful episode that I am truly, truly excited to bring to you. And I honestly think it's going to hit home for many of you. And most likely, you'll be thinking of your time completely differently at the end of this episode. And if you get to the end of this episode and you think that you want more support with time management, I'll share with you some ways we can do exactly that. So stay tuned as I'll share with you how you can take your time management skills to the next level. Now, let's get to the straight talk. Okay, so today we're talking all about time and our relationship with it. I want to start off by sharing a quote that I absolutely love that I think sums up the essence of what we are going to talk about today. Jim Rohn says, "Time is our most valuable asset, yet we tend to waste it, kill it, and spend it rather than invest it." What this means is that time is our most valuable resource. Like, I just want you to take a moment and think about that. If we were to compare time and money you can make more of. There is always ways to invest your money. There is always ways to get more money. You can lose all your money and make more money. Okay. Now, with time is a commodity as well. In fact, I actually looked up the word commodity in preparation for this episode, and this is what it says. Commodity is a useful or valuable thing such as water or time. The dictionary is literally comparing the two of time and water being so valuable. So as I geeked out on the topic, I searched up wanting to know, well, how long can the human body go without water? And essentially, you can get a lot of different numbers, but you can go over 3 weeks without eating, without starving, but you can go only merely 3 days without water because our bodies are made up of about 60% water. Now, what does this have to do with time? Well, it's literally in the definition of a commodity, which means that it is so useful and it is so valuable. And yet I don't think that we traditionally look at time as something that is that valuable. Because listen, you don't actually even know how much you have of it. Like with money, you can check your checking account, right? And you can make investments and you can see it go up, you can see it go down. And when you're spending it or investing it, like you're very, very clear about where you're at with your money. But you're not with time because tomorrow is not promised. Because we honestly do not know how much we even have of this precious commodity. And I truly believe that time is something that is and should be invested. And what I mean by that is investments are something where you want to get a return on what you're putting into, okay? And there's going to be plenty of time that's spent. But when we're thinking of how we want to go after our goals and how we want to achieve either experiences or improve relationships or grow our businesses, it takes an investment of time. Let me backpedal on that just a little bit. Think about time. There is no one in your life that you care and love about that doesn't want your time. This could be your kids, your spouse, your significant other. This is going to be friends, colleagues. We literally trade time with people we care about to show them that we care about them. Our employees, it's an investment of time as you're training them, as you're pouring into them, as you're mentoring them, and you're leading them. That is an exchange of time and an investment in them. Time is actually used all around us as an investment, yet when we sit down at our desks or we're planning our days, or maybe you're not planning your days at all, you're not actually seeing it as an investment. Now, just like with money, people have a relationship with money. Maybe they were told they would never be good with money, or they were raised really poor, and so they have a negative relationship with money or a scarcity relationship with money. Money and time are so similar with our beliefs and our relationship with it because we innately, based on our experiences, based on our past, we absolutely have a belief about what time is to us. I want you to think about when I say the word time and I ask you what comes up, what phrase, what word, what is coming up for you in regards to time? Are you saying things like, I don't have enough time, there's never enough time, I don't know where all the time went, I should be doing this, but I have to do that, or I really want to do something I enjoy, but there's never enough time for that, it's going to take too long, I don't know how to plan my time, I suck at time management, I just am not a planner, I am just late, I'm always late. Like, have you normalized your beliefs around time and said them so often that they are your truth? And my question would be, how is that serving you? You may be saying like, I always think things take less time than they do, right? Like you plan an hour for something and you're like, oh my gosh, I needed 90 minutes. I needed 2 hours. Or maybe it was a project that should have been done in a week and now you're on week 2 or 3. And so is that negative feedback relationship, like there's just simply never enough time. Are you saying things like other people are taking up all my time? Or maybe I'll put that off till tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a different day. And I already told you, like tomorrow is not guaranteed, right? Or do you believe maybe you're missing the time management gene? If you're any time listener, meaning you've listened to a few episodes, then you know that time management is not a gene, but you may very well believe like you weren't made that way. Like your personality wasn't designed to be good at time management. Do you believe you're a victim of time? And this is very powerful, and I want to peel this back. Do you say things like, it's so-and-so's fault that I couldn't get it done. It's my kid's fault. It's the dog's fault. It's the neighbor's fault. It's my business partner's fault. It's my employee's fault. Is it always someone's fault that you, at the end of the day, didn't have the time to invest in the activities that mattered most to you? Do you say things like, oh, I'm always late? Right? So I was talking to my assistant, Crystal, about this topic, and she's like, oh my gosh, I got a great story. So I'm going to share her story. She said that when she was in college in her sorority, they arrived everywhere 10 minutes late, and they called it pie time. And what they did was they literally rationalized their lateness by labeling it pie time, which led to them normalizing the fact that they're 10 minutes late. And guess what? I asked her, I said, I would bet that you were exactly 10 minutes late everywhere, right? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. It just isn't possible that they were literally 10 minutes late all the time unless they had actually labeled themselves. Like it was quite possible they could have been on time, but their belief was, well, we run on pie time, we're 10 minutes late. So they created the actions, whether consciously or subconsciously, to always be arriving 10 minutes late. And I'm going to ask you, like, does that story hit home? Do you say things like, I'm always late, or there's never enough time? You are literally affirming your reality. And so when you think of time, are you in a good relationship with time? Are you in a bad relationship with time? And ultimately, do you see time as a 4-letter word because your relationship actually sucks that much with time? I believe that time is such a valuable resource, as I've already said, but it's because when it's used and invested well, you get such a return on it, right? When I invest time with my spouse, Joe, or I invest time with a girlfriend or my son, right? Or my employees, like on a regular basis, having one-on-one meetings. All of that is a purposeful investment to get the most out of that relationship. And a relationship with anyone you care about is generally affected if you're not willing to invest time. Maybe you have someone that you care about that is really far away, but you get on the phone with them or you're FaceTiming them. The way in which you make someone feel special is by making the time for them. Okay, so that's like in the real world, how we use time in relationship with other people. But what does that look like in our businesses? In our businesses, it's very much the same. And here's the deal. There is going to be plenty of time where it's free time, quote unquote, wasted time, meaning it's just time that has no other purpose than enjoyment. But that is not wasted time. Like we need that time. Like we need time. For example, this weekend, I think I was home 7 hours from Friday afternoon till Sunday night. And that included sleep. I had the most amazing time. We went on a double date. We went on just a date with my husband. We went to the pumpkin patches. We went shopping. We went vehicle shopping. The list goes on. And really it was because that's what I needed. I had a week and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to spend time with all the people I love and just do whatever I feel like doing. And then I'll hit the ground running on Monday. And that is exactly what happened. That was for me a good use of my time, a good investment because it was also with the people I love. Now, I'm not talking in circles, but when we're in our business and when we're looking at how we're investing our time, I want you to think of your calendar as like your checking account. Okay. So if you went to someone to help you with your budget and figure out where is your money going, what money could be available to invest to get a return on it, you would go to your bank account. And if I really wanted to know what mattered most to you, I would be able to see that by the way of how you are spending your money. Right? And so if you looked at my husband and I's checking account and you were just kind of looking through it, you would see Sunday brunch every Sunday, right? We pay money every Sunday for brunch. And it's logical to say that must matter to them because it's literally something they spend their money on every single week. And for us, it's like a tradition and it's just the three of us and we are spending time together and we enjoy going out to brunch. Well, when I look at my client's calendar, it's not just at the beginning of coaching and working with them. At the beginning, I'm looking at their calendar for where are they currently spending their time? Where are they currently investing their time? Now, some of my clients honestly don't have a calendar at all. There is nothing to actually look at to get data, which is completely fine. But the calendar is actually the place in which we always touch base on to see where is the time being invested. Now, the mindset around this is that by being purposeful and making choices and not being a victim of just where the time went, but really making a stance of where you are going to invest your time, when you do that, you will absolutely see a return on your investment, especially in business. As the business owner and as the CEO of a small business, your time is actually one of the most valuable assets in the business. And that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. But what's interesting is many of us left some sort of salaried position or hourly position. And then we thought, oh my gosh, I want to be in control of my time. I don't want to be trading time for money. And yet we start these businesses and we're doing exactly that, right? It's just on our own terms. But because if you do not have good time management skills, because you've been working either hourly or salary, and someone has always been telling you what are your goals and what are your responsibilities and what will your day look like and when will you start your day and what meetings will you go to and when will you end your day and when can you take your vacation time, that actually creates a lot of structure that you don't need to think about but it's also the very thing that motivates many to actually go start a business. And so it's a double-edged sword because you don't want that, I don't want to say like boundaries, but you don't want those parameters, right? Like you don't want that level of accountability in your personal business. But I'm going to tell you, you need it. You absolutely need it. You need to have your standards of how you are going to invest your time and what you're going to invest your time on. Because if you can't make those decisions on your own, they're going to be made for you. And what I mean by that is now you become a victim of whatever is happening. You're going to be reactive to the entire day. You're going to be reactive to potential clients, regular clients, employees, and fires, and maybe family and people calling you. And you will end your days so overwhelmed and always feeling like there's not enough time. Now, one of the great things about time is that, well, actually, you may have heard me say this, but this is a perfect place to say it. We are not meant to be productive all day, every day. For those of you that know, I'm just going to rehash it. Productivity is investing your best time into your best activities, right? It's an investment. And we are never going to invest our best time into our best activities 24 hours a day or even 8 hours a day in our businesses. Because when we do that, we're actually diluting the definition of investment in your best activities, right? You're diluting what those best activities are. To draw a parallel here, if you had $10,000 come in and you needed to live and you needed to buy food and you need to have utilities and a home and all of the things in a vehicle, you're not able to actually invest all $10,000, right? But the goal is to create such efficiency with your living expenses that there's an excess that you can then take and invest in something that will make a return on your financial investment. The same thing is true with time and how we run our businesses. There are things that your business needs from you that honestly aren't the most high value activities, which are those activities that will propel you towards achieving your goals. You're going to have to balance your checkbook and take a meeting with your lawyer or your CPA or put out the occasional fire with a client. While those things are necessary, none of them are immediately attached to revenue generating activities. So what we want to do is create as much efficiency with the things that it takes to run our businesses. And there are so many ways to do that. That's actually what I work with my clients on, is to create as much efficiency around the things that it takes to run our business so that there is an excess of time that you can regularly and consistently invest in activities that will propel you towards your goals. And only you can determine what those are. Now, I do this with my one-on-one clients, which is helping them identify what those activities are that, if done consistently, will have the biggest impact on them achieving their goals. But what you need to do is get so clear about not just what they are, but when they're going to be done. And then create the time and productive environment to ensure that you're showing up and making those investments on a regular basis. Now, your goals are going to be different than your friend's goals or my goals or the person down the street's goals. And so everyone's goals and their time frame will determine what it's going to take for them to achieve their goals. For me, I'm a bit ambitious, so I am always looking at how quickly I can move from one goal or one milestone to the next. But that's just innately my personality. My husband is much more laid back and relaxed, and so he wouldn't be running from one milestone to the next necessarily, because that's not what lights him up. And so it's really important that we get really clear about what investments it will take to reach that goal, and then build the schedule and the time around that to ensure that we can make those investments on a regular basis. If you're currently thinking, there is never enough time, like all I'm doing is putting out fires, like I don't even know where my time is going, then we need to talk because it does not need to be that way. This is exactly why I even got into business, is because I saw this happening time and time again. And I have yet to have a client in 7 years that I couldn't help get from being a victim of their time and reactive to their time and there's not enough time, and moving them to being in control of their time and being very purposeful with where their time is going and making the investments and creating the schedule that allows them to be really, really clear with where they're putting their time. So my question to you is, what is your relationship with time? Is it a positive relationship? Are you looking at it as something that you can do good with and make an investment in? Or are you looking at it as something that is just uneasy, uncomfortable? Do you have some negative beliefs around it? Because those need to be worked through. And the best way to work through that is to create a plan and get the skill set that you will need to actually change your reality. Okay? Now, as you may know, use affirmations. And one of the affirmations that I use on a regular basis to ensure that I have a healthy relationship with time so that I can then execute on my strategies is that I say, I always have time for what matters most. I say this affirmation on a daily basis, and I'm going to pull back that affirmation so that you can see just how powerful that affirmation is. I always have time for what matters most. Now, if you were to say that to yourself, I want you to just pause and feel in your body, how does that feel? My guess is if you say things like, I don't have enough time, it will create immediate, maybe clamminess or anxiety or overwhelm, or everyone's different. But what does it feel like when you say, I always have time for what matters most? By saying that, you're literally flipping the script and saying that you solely are in control of making the decision of what matters most. And when you do that, and when you have the tools to be ruthless with what actually matters based on your goals, both personally and professionally, I guarantee there's enough time. But what the reality is that you're living in right now is that you've said yes to so many things and that you've never maybe looked at time as a true investment. And so it's been spent all over the place. And at the end of the day, you look and you're like, how could I possibly squeeze out another minute to do anything that really matters most to me? And that's honestly where I come in. So now, I know that time does not need to be a 4-letter word. In fact, I want you to have the most amazing relationship with time, because once you do, you will be able to harness that for good. You'll be able to invest it to excel your achievement of your goals. You'll be able to invest it to improve your relationship with others. I know that this has probably really resonated with many of you because I know you experience these thoughts about time probably on a regular basis. I focus on improving time management with all of my clients because it's such an important game-changing skill. I want to let you know that I've decided to offer something super, super special, and we're calling it a pop-up training because this literally didn't exist 3 days ago. And what I'm going to do is a pop-up training on time management. And I'm going to be really clear about this. I honestly don't know if I will ever offer this training again. And if I do, I don't know if it will be live or even at this price. But I'm really excited to tell you that I'm offering a training. It's 4 weeks, 4 live trainings. You'll have access to the replays and the trainings for, I believe, a total of 5 weeks, right? So to give you some time to catch up if you can't make it live. And it's called Time Management Made Simple. And it's a 4-part training where we are going to cover everything from capturing, organizing, and executing your tasks, identifying what tasks are the best investment for your time, how to keep a task management system, creating your ideal week, how to move tasks and projects forward by utilizing tools such as your calendar and your task management system, auditing your time, taking a look at, just like you would with money, is where did the time go, and making decisions of where do you want it to go and creating a plan of making that change. We're also going to be covering how to maintain your systems. So you know that there is a strategy to execute, which is really important. But one of the biggest game changers with making sure that the changes you make are for long term is to have a maintenance plan. And that may be adjusting your routines or looking at what does it look on a daily and regular basis on your schedule to ensure that the changes you're making in this training last for the long haul, and really so much more. So it will be 4 live trainings with me all about time management made simple. If this is a training that you are interested in, do not hesitate. We are literally starting on November 1st, so like next week. You can register for Time Management Made Simple over at theproductivityspecialist.com/time made simple. This entire live 4-week pop-up training is going to be only $197. Like literally, this is one of the least expensive ways to work with me. I want to make this like an easy yes for you. Okay, so let's close this out. I have loved having you listen to Productivity Straight Talk, but I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. So if you had some ahas today about your mindset and your relationship around time and you want to change that, then I am inviting you to take action and join me in the Time Management Made Simple program. You can do that again by going to theproductivityspecialist.com/time made simple. And I want to thank you so much for leaving some great reviews and sharing Productivity Straight Talk with other business owners and entrepreneurs. You're not just sharing information, you're giving the gift of improved productivity and maximized profit. I have a special thank you going out to Deanna, who recently said, "I love this podcast. I keep finding so much to take action on that I need to stop what I'm doing while listening and take notes. This is more like a course than a podcast. I get useful gems in each episode, which really surprise me. As someone who has been working on productivity for years, I thought I had heard it all. LOL." Thank you so much, Deanna. That's a great testimonial. And honestly, I'm hearing that from many, many of you. Which brings up a good point that I actually wanted to talk to you about. This podcast is created for you to have some wins. Obviously, like that's why I pour my heart into each episode. But if you're getting wins now, just listening to the episode, you're literally getting grains of sand of what's behind the podcast, which is working with me. I can tell you that if you're already getting wins, you are set up to be an ideal client because you're taking action. My message is resonating with you and you're already getting results. If you are ready to take it to the next level, then I invite you to do a couple things. 1, check out this program. Again, it's a pop-up training. If you're listening to this episode and that training is long gone and you just want to know how best to work with me to take what you're learning to the next level, then schedule a discovery call. A discovery call is the very best way to figure out where you're at, what are your goals, and how I may be able to help you with that. And you can schedule your discovery call by going to theproductivityspecialist.com/call. And I honestly just want to learn if there's a way in which I can accelerate your learning, your growth, your results. And maybe that's working with me. Maybe it's not. I'll give you the honest truth, but we do get to chat. And honestly, there's no obligation. So if you've been on the fence or you've had it on a wish list to work with me, then jump on a discovery call. That's the very next action step that makes sense. So that's my straight talk for you today. Until next time, have a productive week.